All right, we are back. I am still the RPG Chick, and I will still be your host for this upcoming race here. I did just want to read off 2 quick donations. We had a $25 from Cation that says, "Go Noob Tree, go," and a $30 donation from Nori that says, "Paying out $10 per oopsie through my run. Though it's punishment for me, it's still for a good cause, and thanks for all you do, Valks," with a heart. Thank you, Nori, and thank you, Cation. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Lady Starbird and Greffrey, who are going to be commentating this amazing randomizer race.
Commentating, is that a word in my vocabulary? I guess it's going to have to be good afternoon.
Good enough.
Oh, good enough. Okay. Hopefully everyone's doing well today. I am Lady Starbird. For some reason, I almost said I'm the RPG Chick, but I remembered I am not her. So...
Not today.
Not today. With me, I have the one and only Greffrey.
Hello, everybody. Happy good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it may be.
And this is the Phantasy Star for Profound Disorder Randomizer. So basically, in the simplest of terms, this is free enterprise, but Sega. So it's got to be better, right?
Clearly.
as I try to toot my own horn a little bit, I am actually getting the runners set up. I'm waiting for... I got a ready check going right now. Got Dumpster in, waiting for Noob. But other than that, this is... I want to try and talk about it. All of a sudden, it's like, brain blank. Haha. That's what my brain wants to do right now, is be blank. So, all right. So... yes, this is basically Final Phantasy Star 4 Free Enterprise. Organ Mike has got it right. So we'll explain more as the game goes on. What these players are going to be doing is a mode called Hunters. What did I call it? I don't even remember. I'm the creator of this. I don't even remember what I call it. Hunter's Mark, I believe is what it's called.
It is now.
It is now. Hunter's Mark, thank you, Apple. So what that means is, if anyone's ever played Phantasy Star 4, you remember the Hunters Guild board, and you'd have, as the game progresses, 8 quests that you'd get for, like, experience and money. Well, in this randomizer, those 8 quests are now randomized with different objectives throughout the game, and in order to open the final dungeon, you have to complete all 8 of those objectives. You start out with a random party of 5. Their ability, everyone's at level 1. Their abilities are randomized, and the shops are randomized. It's a lot of things. And you also start with the hydrofoil. So you have a lot of access to places right off the bat. So, again, I gotta find out, where is Noob? Because I am waiting for that. Let's see. I'll do a ready check. Give me one moment. Griff, do you want to talk a little bit?
Sure, I can definitely take over from here. So again, these are 2 players that have been playing this for actually quite a while right now. So it'll be very interesting to see, just see how they able to handle this here. Myself and Lady Starbird we don't really know what we're going to be seeing here outside of just really the objectives and the party. That's all we know. We have no idea where this is going to be. What kind of path is it going? Is it going to be really fast? Is it going to be really slow? A lot of the things that we'll see for the Hunters board and what's going on in there itself will be objectives that you'd expect to see throughout the game if you're playing. Some of them are actually recurring missions from the Hunters board. Some of them are brand new. I think it's a list of maybe 20 of them. There's a whole bunch of them, so you're never quite sure what you're going to get from that. As mentioned before, everyone starts at level 1, so everything's kind of normalized to that, and then the stat growth takes over from there once they start gaining some experience.
All right, so we are actually just about ready. So I'm going to go ahead and give a countdown for them on Discord. So it's going to start momentarily. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So I did give them the go, so hopefully that'll start up here in a minute.
There we go now. So what do we got?
All right, woo. What do we have? All right, so they start out actually in the Hunters Guild So that way they can actually check the board and see what they got. The 8 objectives they have is the Castle King, which is defeating the boss of the air castle, the final boss of the air castle. Zio's Hostage, which would be in vanilla rescuing Demi. Hello Cat, which is speaking to the Elder Cat in Mistvale. Feeling Nervous, which is defeating the boss of Nervous. Garbage Tower, which would be defeating the boss of Garubert Tower. We, as everyone knows, and whether you play vanilla Phantasy Star 4 or Randomizer, Garubert Tower is known as Garbage Tower. The Worm Pits is the Sandworm Pit. To Valhalla is defeating the boss of Valhalla Fort, and the Crash Site is just checking the panel at Wreckage. So these are all randomized from a list, and also bosses are shuffled around as well. Graf, do you want to explain that?
I certainly can. So as there are mostly 2 categories of bosses that have been set up for in this randomizer. There's the quote-unquote minor bosses, and then there's the bosses, the ones that we all love a lot. And I believe they're still rotating around those groups, if I'm correct, Lady Starbird?
Yes, you have mini bosses and you have major bosses. Each location has a set stat. So basically, it's a stat of in vanilla what that boss had 4 stats. So if you have a boss, like say you have Zio and he ends up in Soldier's Island, he's going to have every stat of what Dark Force 3 had in that spot. So he's going to have increased HP, mental stats, everything, and he's going to be a lot stronger. So you kind of have to adjust accordingly. And some bosses become very, very much more powerful in some different places, and others, of course, become weaker. But it also depends on your routing.
Yep, it certainly does. So it's always fun when you get to see a boss like, oh no, that one always hit like Sandworm, like, oh, that's gonna hit so hard. Then you realize it's in a spellcaster kind of slot. It's like, oh, this is actually not as bad, potentially, or vice versa, if a spellcaster's in the spot where the Sandworm is, because that's a high physical damage spot. So
yes.
So I did notice early on, looked like we had access to a few abilities that I caught while they were checking the stats. One of them was, I believe, Rika had Barrier, so that gives access to the Barrier skill, which is very, very useful to have. And the fact that it's going to be early on will tell us that Rika will probably have a lot of charges of that. And also, I saw that we had access to Vision as well. And what that does in the randomizer will increase your dexterity, so you're more accurate, and also your crit chance goes up. And looking at this group right now, if we have Rika, Chaz, and Grizz, if they're all swinging for the fences, we actually may have a high physical damage output team here.
Yes, and Vision in at least the English version of Vanilla had a fixed increase of 6, I believe is what it was. So Vision actually didn't have that much use. With one of the fixes in the randomizer made it to be more like the Japanese version, which scales off the in the Japanese version, I believe it scales off the mental stat, the caster's mental stat, which can be definitely overpowered. In the randomizer, Vision now scales off of the caster's dexterity stat. So it increases dexterity based on the caster's own dexterity stat, which again can increase your likeliness of getting a crit, and also increases your chance of hitting, which in some of these cases, especially like Grizz and of course Chaz, we all know how Chaz likes to miss. It'll definitely help out there. So it looks like Dumpster is going to Wreckage first, which is actually one of the objectives. I saw that they grabbed a bunch of telepipes. Telepipes in this game are used to teleport to towns that you've already visited, it's not as important as escape pipes, because if you don't have those, you're gonna have to do like walks of shame, and I've done that enough times. And I think Noob looks like he opted to go through Passageway first.
Yeah, it's a nice location. It's right there. You're able to immediately go get an item in there. There's another treasure chest in there for stuff, and it takes you all the way to Cattery to be able to get another item that's hiding in the back. And then you also have access, if you feel is the play, to the spaceport, so you can start going to other planets and start exploring.
So inside Wreckage is the access key, which is also needed to access Valhalla Fort, at least the inner parts of it. You can actually go inside the dungeon and fight around a little bit if you wanted to, but it looks like Dumpster completed one objective and he has the access key. And I believe Noob got the arrow prism out of Kaderi.
Okay, so that opens up some locations. So with needing to take out the boss at the lower half of the air castle, there's access there. However, we're probably not going to see that place for a bit because it does take some levels in gear to have a chance to go through there. And with the access key, we have access to Valhalla Fort now for that objective.
Yes, and it also opens up the plate system as well. One thing you'll probably also be noticing is they're not getting into any encounters. So that is actually an option in the randomizer that you can turn off random encounters. So you're probably asking, how do you get stronger for some of these bosses if you don't have random encounters? Griff, do you want to explain that magical bit?
Magical? Oh, you just segued into it beautifully. Because there is an item that has been added into this called the Mag Lamp or the Magic Lamp. And that will allow people to, when they use it in a location, just do an on-demand encounter. So in some places, like for myself, for example, I like going to the passageway near Kateria and Aido, and I like using the Magic Lamp twice. I try to get 2 slug fights so they combine into a big slug and take them out to get a big chunk of experience. So, and that's only just one route. There are a lot of people, I think, have their own ways of how they like to tackle that problem early on in the game.
Yeah, Apple Lady created a really good strat using the Magic Lamp at Valhalla at level 1 because for Vorpal grinding, because there's actually an enemy in Valhalla 4 called the Vorpal Sphere. It's powerful and it can one-shot you, but it won't attack you unless you've actually attacked it. So if you have strong enough abilities or some instant death attacks, you can take those out without receiving damage even at level 1. And gain like 13, 14 levels right from the get-go.
Yep, no, it's a solid way to start. And usually, once you do an initial grind, anything you take out after that, there's enough experience from seeing the objectives to allow you to coast through the rest of the game without too much hassle. An added benefit is a potential situation. Say you find Zio, and you don't have the Psycho Wand to get rid of that barrier. The Magic Lamp will also double as that same effect in combat as well. So that allows for, if you do run into Zio and you have the Magic Lamp on hand, you're not stopped by not being able to find the Psycho Wand.
And that was one thing. It's like I couldn't figure out how, because the logic just didn't work when I was trying to make it. So I was like, okay, people are going to have the Magic Lamp. Let's at least just give that to them. However, in the new version coming out, Magic Lamp's going to be a lot more expensive. So, I'm trolling you all there.
I just saw a shop with Psy gear, so that's going to be, to me, I always consider that a noteworthy shop to keep in mind because it's a cheap gear that you can get that has high magic defense, which is rather tricky to get, and it's very good to have that magic defense stat cranked up as you go through the game.
Yeah, especially handy for both Rune and Raja, who's the Psy shield's basically going to be their best shield. Neither of those are actually in this seed, so most likely if they're going to go shield for anybody, it's going to be Reflect Shield, at least for Kira, if they're going magic route with her, depending on what they actually get for items at that point. So right now, they're both kind of making their sweep around. Dumpster looks like he went to a few different towns to get the Ryuka point, or the Telepite point, so that he can warp around easier. Noob Tree going with one of my favorite strats is just getting your free checks out of the way early. So the Hangar, Zealand, Silence Temple on Rydcross. Yeah, Apple, I'm finding every way to nerf your Vorpal grinding. You can still find the Magic Lamp, though, so there is that. It's just a matter of when you're going to Vorpal grind, Apple. And what are you talking about? I'm adding a weapon to it called the Thunder Boomerang that's going to be electrical element, so I'm helping your Vorpal grind there, Apple. What are you talking about? So... yeah, but he's looks like Noob is, and I just banged my knuckle on the desk. Oh my god!
Looks like some rings have already started showing up. One appears to be in the Silence Temple, and soon both players will have it. And another one was actually in the hangar under Tyler. It looked like it was one of the rings as well. So those would be the final head equipment for any character in the game, as well. Yes. if say this race was in the other game mode where the goal is to find the 5 rings, that's an objective. That's a key item to unlock the final dungeon.
Yes, in the original versions, and still one of the active modes in this is basically just called Ring Hunt. You just got to find the 5 rings, which is, and according to original lore anyway, you wouldn't be able to go into the edge without the rings anyway to protect you from the great evil known as the Profound Darkness. And Ring Hunt was kind of a way to also do that. You get the 5 rings, boom, automatically opens up the final dungeon. So
I think I spy with my little eye a slug grind.
I do see a slug grind coming. We have the Algo ring, which was in Silence Temple, and the Motor ring, which was in the hangar. The Motor ring gives a little bit of agility, but its most important piece is that it increases fire resistance, which is great for Raja because he actually has a weakness to fire. It's okay for anybody else. It's only a +1 agility, but other than that, the fire resistance always helps. We do have a Demi in here, though, so the Palma ring or the Rycross ring is actually going to be quite important for her, especially in the final boss, if they can find it.
Yes, that'll be... Oh, Chaz down. There's the reset. No, that's... Yeah, no, the objective of what Noob Tree is trying to do is... that encounter in particular can have 2 to 4 slugs in it, and you want to knock it down to just 2 slugs, or it may start with 2. They automatically combine into the much bigger slug, and then you're trying to kill that one. However, at level 1, if things don't go to plan, they can be taken out rather quickly by, if you don't have any good strong weapons at the start for whatever's found. So 4 and an ambush, that's no good. That's gonna be trouble.
That is, especially at level 1 and with no armor. 2 would be perfect because then you can just defend and merge. If you have anybody with an instant death attack, they can sometimes take it out. And Apple Lady already discussing her disdain for slug grind. I'm with you, Apple Lady. I prefer the Vorpal grind too, to be honest. And the Vorpal grind is very much reset heavy as well, though, because the monsters there, or the robots there anyway, you have to be the game originally intends you to be in your 20s, maybe 30s before you even hit Valhalla for it. Passageway, you can be in your preteens. You can the game probably originally tended between 8 and 12 to get the hangar, so the monsters aren't nearly as tough. The meta slugs give quite a good bit of experience, not as much as the Vorpal spheres, but it's enough to get you possibly through the first few bosses.
Yeah, and it's a nice convenient location as well, because you just hop out of the cave, you just go over to the east a little bit, and my prime first target for a boss to take out, it's always the sandworm spot. So I'm curious, so I believe Dumpster actually checked that spot, and it was the 3 servants in there.
Yes.
So a high physical damage boss fight and a high physical location. That one I have a feeling is going to be dodged for a little bit, because that may be tricky until they get access to, say, D-Ban or an item that will allow them to cast the physical defense buff so they have a chance of surviving it easily.
Yeah, and having 3, all 3 of them have the exact same stats as a sandworm, so they got like 1200 HP a piece, and because it's high at physical attack, all of the servants' attacks are physical. So they need extra defense and some mitigation in order to get past them. And the other thing is that the servants also have quite a lot of resistances. They're especially to even the mechanical element. The mechanical element is there are how many elements in this game? Like 12, I think. The mechanical is one that it's a flag that. How do I want to word this to make sense? It's basically a weakness, but a lot of the mechanical abilities are instant death, although the Hyper Jammer is a stun. But the 2 that are Bros and Spark, they're instant death, but Servants are pretty strong against it, which is very odd for a mechanical being. And so now if any of them had Explode, that could easily take them out.
Yeah, that's a different story right there. And that's kind of a fun part about this game in general is, yeah, you have all these instant kill abilities or just variety of abilities, but these ones are good against this, these are good against that. So you have to really start understanding what you have access to. Ooh, 4 sand newts. I've not seen this in a long time.
We're Noob doing vanilla strats right now. He's just
Oh,
going
yeah.
right for the newts.
The original grind.
Yep. It's like we need Rude just for his human. And you can see, I was going to say, did he use Magic Lamp there? Because if he didn't, then there's just a random encounter. I got a bug I got to fix. So that's not cool. I think he did use the Magic Lamp.
I think
Oh,
so
I know
as
what
well.
I think I know what he used the Magic Lamp for. He was, one issue with the Magic Lamp is that it teleports you to your last transition spot. So if you went into a room, opened a chest, used the Magic Lamp, you'll be back at the door. I guess that's the magical part of the lamp. I don't know why it does that either. It just does.
Let's see. I did notice as well, I believe one of the towns on the Zolos as well, actually the guard weapon shop was found because there was a guard sword and a plasma launcher for sale. So that may be a high ticket item for later as well. If they feel that their weapons are not showing up, they may have to spend some cash. And they can get some really solid stuff for Demi and Chaz. To at least get the damage rolling at the start. Ooh, hello.
Yeah, and I'm seeing over on Noob, Tono has the elemental weapon shop, which he's picking up, look like a couple Thunder Claws, which are another Apple Lady strat is picking up Thunder Claws to use on Vorpals. So we could possibly be seeing Noob do some Vorpal grinding, but he's going to go into the Tono basement. There's no boss here, but it is there's plenty of chests here if he wants to check for that, or he can just go for the what was originally the Alschline in Tono, and it's just an incentivized chest right now. So if there's going to be key items, they're going to be in the incentivized chests.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see, because last time I tried to dodge this place as long as I could, because like, I need an Alschline, I need to go find this. Where do I find it? In the place it was supposed to be. It's like, come on, game.
And you're like, is this even randomized?
Because I think Victor Axe. Okay, we're talking.
Okay. So the Victor Axe is it was the defeat axe in vanilla, and it's now one of the legendary weapons in the game, and it's been repurposed. It is now light elemental, like the Alcidian, the Psycho Wand, and the Silver Tusk. And the Victor Axe on Grizz, and it's also the name of it is also I went from defeat to victory. It's kind of a play on, but the Victor Axe is also a weapon in Phantasy Star Online, so I kind of just did that. And yeah, we're definitely 3 Thunder Claws, and I think we're going to be seeing some Vorpal grinding here.
Yep.
However, it's also very reset heavy, because if you don't get it, because everyone's agility is so low, you're going to get outturned every time. And so we're going to probably be seeing some resets until we at least get a single Vorpal Sphere fight.
And it looks like on Dumpster side, we're actually going to see an actual boss fight now, because we're going to the basement of the cat. Oh, Guard Claw. There we go. Rika's got some gear now. So that's going to be an excellent start. So yeah, I think we got some damage there, so that's good. So let's see what this boss is once Save Anywhere is done. Sandworm? Early on? Okay.
It's actually nice because Sandworm, again, the boss at the basement only has 300 HP, so it can be taken down very easily. But we're about to see Noob Tree gain a ton of levels.
Oh, yeah.
4 Vorpals is as good as you want, and you can just see Thunderclaw just wrecking through everything. Thunderclaws are worth its weight for this type of grinding. So that's like one fight. He's at level 15. He's ready to take on quite a few of the objectives.
Yeah, and we just saw out of the Academy basement, we had the Eclipse Torch, which is actually going to be required to complete one of the hunts that we need to do over at Garbaruk Tower.
Yes, the Garbage Tower is one of the 2 key items. The Eclipse Torch is one of the 2 key items you need in order to get to Garbaruk Tower. Much like in Vanilla, you need the Eclipse Torch, but unlike in Vanilla, you actually need to use it as an item in order to destroy the carnivorous trees blocking the tower. I don't think anyone ever calls it Garbaruk anymore. It's garbage. It's just garbage.
I had to force myself very hard to actually say it correctly, or at least I think correctly. But yeah, I guess right now, because that's the only spot that actually requires 2 key items to access it, because the torch is required, but we still need an ice digger to actually get there in the first place. So that's going to be one of the outstanding progression items we're going to need to be able to see this through. So
Like at level 7, Dumpster is going to be going towards the boss spot here, and that okay, it's not going to deal that much damage because Dominators only use physical attacks, and this is actually a low physical stat spot, but that's still a lot of HP per. On the good side, though, they can be insta-killed, but it looks like Dumpster is saying nope. Well, I don't have enough to deal with this right now.
Okay.
But he also knows he has to get here because it is an objective.
Bingo. Oh, looks like we'll maybe see the servants here and see what they do here.
And now the worm pit is an objective here, but also the boss here gives a ton of XP as well. And it wouldn't surprise me, I think, if he gains another like 10 levels or something from here.
I think whenever I do my slug grind, I get to around 10 to 11, and if I complete the objective here, it automatically kicks me up to level 18. Once you're that, you're coasting for the rest of the game.
Yeah, we can see Noob Tree right now setting up a few macros here. Graf, do you want to explain to anybody unfamiliar what the macro system is in this wonderful game?
I would love to talk about macros, because macros are one of the main selling points of this game. If you want to, you can set it up so you can just, on demand, do a set actions in a set order. So as we saw there, Barry was the top of the list. It's always going to be the turn orders will wait until that person can be first, and then everyone else is shunted under it to the best of the ability. And then we can set up things like a buff macro where we want all of our buffs to come out on the first round. And then after that, we may have a healing macro or an all-out damage macro, whatever you feel like that you want to use. But it makes it so that if you're very quick at setting them up and you know what to do, you can start getting those prepped ahead of time for bosses, and you can just go have a good old time with them.
Yeah, and look, we see Dumpster also looking at a high XP spot, run into a Chaos Sorcerer, which Kira is really low on HP right now, but Chaos Sorcerer is also one that can be insta-killed. And by Kira.
Yeah, by Kira. It looks like for the servants at least, 2 insta-kills hit because we got an explode and also a crash that came in. So now it's just maybe hoping for a third one, or actually chewing through that just shy of 1,500 HP each, I believe.
Something like that. Yes, it would still be quite a bit of a long fight. And the servants also, if all 3 are on the board and you're using an AoE attack, you're going to get some lag. That is something that was in vanilla
there
too.
We go. And there's the hold down the button if you have turbo on.
The third class of instant death attacks is known as destruction. And basically they can work on both monsters and mechanical beings, where biological death attacks will only work on biological beings, mechanical will only work on mechanical, and destruction can work on any of them. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to, but abilities like Crash, Explode, and Negatus. Oh, Negatus is so wonderful if you can get it. If you can get it on Rune first, because Rune's the only one that can use it. But it's an AoE destruction ability, and if I did that, a few days ago when I was testing out a seed, I had Rune with Negatus in slot 1, so he had 4 charges of it, and I went Vorpal grinding right off the bat, and with those 4, he was able to take him out. Of course, the odds of hitting an instant death attack are based on one of the caster's stats, depending on the ability. It's usually going to be either strength or the caster's mental stat, but it also is determined on the target's defense, and it's usually magic defense. It sometimes can be their strength as far as what saves them. A lot of the calculations in this game are very convoluted, I'm gonna say.
It's like, now we're seeing the whiffs and the 1 damages from the Dominator bots here. So I think Noob will have not too much. 1 damage off a double hit. Should be no problem.
And Grizz with Warcry is as Warcry and the Victor Axe. Grizz is going to be. He's going to murder these things. What Warcry does, it's a self-attack buff that raises the caster's attack power by their strength. Grizz has the highest strength in the game. And so with that, he is just going to destroy things. And he's got Crash, so The whole meme was always "Bye Grizz," at least in vanilla. No, we say "Hi Grizz" here.
Yeah, no, Grizz, once fully kitted out, swings for the fences, does not care for anybody's feelings, is just going to get the job done.
And it looks like Dumpster's now ready for the servant fight.
Yeah, it looked like at the top of the Zeo's fort there is actually, it was a guard robe. So part of the loot table in the incentivized locations is actually one piece of guard armor for each of the characters that's in the party. So you know you'll have access to the best armor in the game while going through all this. Kind of annoying if you're looking for the progression items, but it's a nice thing to have nonetheless, because it does make the later boss fights much more manageable.
Yes, especially since also guard robe. Originally in vanilla, the magic defense of guard robe was actually less than the reflect mail. That's fixed here. It's like if you're gonna have the best armor in the game, you might as well, make it worth getting.
So what was it? Oh, this is where the Chaos Sorcerer was earlier. Okay, I get ya.
Yes, so basically they're just flip-flopping at this point. Although I don't think, Dumpster noped out of Zeo's fort, which he'll probably do after this because he'll have enough levels because he saw those Dominators and said no.
I'm wondering if Noobtree actually found the Snow Crown, one of the items that's been set up in this randomizer to provide you with a group-wide buff. In this case, for the Snow Crown, it actually... Guard Rod. Handy that. Provides access to the D-Band spell on demand, so it increases your physical defense. And that makes a big difference, because if you don't have that, things like those motor cannons from the servants, those potentially hit a lot harder all of a sudden, especially when there's 3 of them doing them back to back to back.
Yeah, according to what I'm sorry, I had the spoiler log in front of me. Snow Crown was in Zealand, so I'm pretty sure they both got it. I'm cheating now.
You send me the ROM so I can go look at it to get my initial notes, but you hold on to the good stuff.
Right, I
well,
can send it to you if you want.
Don't worry about it. It's more fun for me this way.
Okay. The Snow Crown was in Zealand. For that.
Okay.
And I believe, did I miss something? I feel like I missed something.
There was
no, Doom Trees. Okay, so actually, because we're not able to do trackers on here, I am kind of trying to keep track of things anyway. This game can get away from things. I don't recall if Noobtree has. Reflect Mail is nice.
Yeah.
Did Noobtree do Wreckage? Yes, he did. So he's got the access key.
Yeah.
So Noobtree right now has 3 objectives done, and all the free objectives. So now we're looking at the objectives for what's locked behind things right now. And both of them have the Arrow Prism, which at this level they could make an Air Castle run if they wanted to. We still need the Ice Digger. We still need the Cycle Wand. The access key we do have, and they might be a little low level for Valhalla Fort, but to be fair, Valhalla Fort could have Iglanova as the boss, and it's like, oh, who cares if it's got 1,000 hit points or not? It's Iglanova. No one cares.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of curious to see what will be done here, because it just getting Valhalla Fort now would be nice just to get it out of the way, and I don't think there's really a heck of a whole lot left on Motavia to do. Could be some more exploring elsewhere. But without that Ice Digger, that's going to make things a lot trickier, because one planet is effectively just locked out. You can't do anything there until you can get that Ice Digger. And the Cycle Wand will only unlock a single location, so that's not so bad. But now we're going to see some Ladea Tower, so hey, maybe we'll see what we need up there.
Everyone get your any of your jam emotes out now, because we are going through Ladea Tower and actually not having to stop for encounters because we don't have encounters. Haha.
We get to hear the song loop.
Yes, we do. And we'll get to hear it again because Air Castle is required.
Yes, as well. That is very true.
All right, so Dumpster's now feeling confident enough to take out the Dominators in Zeo's fort. And he should be fine at this level. At level 7, yeah. I would probably have noped too if I had seen Dominators at level 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually coming in here at level 7 feels mighty sketchy to me.
Yeah, it does. Depending on the boss, though. I mean, I have had Iglanova here at low levels before, but again, you're taking a big chance. It's one boss out of 9 that it could do that.
Lashik
And
at the top of Ledea Tower. Okay. At least they have access to all the major buffs required. So we'll see how hard Thunder Halberd or another gate hits for here.
another gate could still hit very hard because it has a big base damage.
Okay.
And Thunder Halberd is still going to do some damage on Demi. Thankfully, not as much.
Yeah, at least she can survive multiple hits there, so that will allow some time to get some uptime. And one thing that's very important for a lot of the bosses in the game, like Dark Force or Zeo, for example, you expect things that the Holy Element are going to do a lot of damage, which they do. But Lashik's actually a little different. He's actually weak to fire, and I saw some fire spells in the list there, so we got some access to some goodies here.
I'm just sad there was the Flame Sword in Tono, and he didn't pick up the Flame Sword to use here. I am very sad. And the thing is, there was a Napalm shot, I believe, there too, so Debbie could have had some fire damage as well.
At 415 crit from Grizz.
Oh, I know. Lashik has equal weakness to both light and fire elemental, but fire feels more fun using against Lashik, to be honest. He is quite a bit weaker in Ledea Tower compared to Air Castle. However, another gate can still hit very hard. However, because Grizz is dealing like 400 damage per shot, we're already at the reinforced stage of Lashik. What reinforced does is increase all of Lashik's stats by 20. That can be mitigated by use of the Cycle Wand or the Magic Lamp here. But at this, when Grizz can just wreck things, you don't need to really worry about debuffing him when one more turn is just going to kill him at that point, especially at Ledea Tower, and you're dealing that much damage. Also, he automatically will use Reinforce when his HP reaches 25% or less. So good thing to keep in mind.
Yep.
Especially if he ends up in like Soldier's Island.
Yes, because that's a very important part. One thing that's not required story-wise when you play the game normally, but is still an option, is when the reinforced phase is up, you can actually use the Cycle Wand to get rid of that buff, and the Magic Lamp in the Randomizer as well will do the same thing. So if you encounter Lashik in one of those really top-end spots, strongly recommended to do that, because you could still be one-hit KO'd by, say, another gate by accident.
Yes. The reward for defeating Lashik there was the Silver Tusk.
Yes.
And the silver tusk keeps its element from the original, but to make it in line with legendary weapons, the power of the silver tusk is increased. So it is actually now Rika's strongest weapon.
Yep, and we got that combined with the Guard Claw as well. So Rika is ready to go. Grizz is ready to go for damage. I believe I also saw a Moonslasher in someone's inventory earlier. So if we have something set up for Kira, she could actually turn into a high physical damage against some of the bosses as well.
Speaking of slashers, look who our boss is of Valhalla.
Ta-da! Character number 6 of the party.
Yep, character number 6. So Alice actually is, or both Alice and Seth are actually playable characters in this, and you can use them like anybody else. The game, there's originally 11 characters in the game, and the game randomly picks 5. One thing about this randomizer, though, is you can also have multiple of the same character. I wouldn't recommend it because of the way damage calculation works in this game. But you can also have less characters in your party. So you could literally go, and when I first tried this feature out, I did a solo Chaz run throughout the game, and I had to be like in mid-80s in order to beat the game. So that's one of the things here. You can have 5 characters max. You can have 1 character, and anything in between. It's totally up to you how you want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Actually, something that I don't believe we talked about as well was the addition of debuff spells that we have access to. Did you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, so basically, you can actually use debuff spells in this now, where they didn't see much use in vanilla. In some cases, they actually will work against some of these bosses. Spells like Doran, which lowers your target's defense. And all of the debuff spells are AoE, so if they hit, it'll hit all of them, or a few of them, or just one of them, or even none of them. But Doran reduces the target's defense. Illusion lowers their dexterity. Galoon lowers their attack power. Talele lowers their attack power, which are all nice. Shadow lowers their agility. So if you sometimes can't find yourself a buff to help, you can try a debuff, and you might be able to accomplish the same thing. So if you don't have Deban, but you have Giloon or Talele, you could still turn your enemies' attacks into like 1 damage, 2 damage, whatever. You weaken them significantly with it.
And I see the loot at the Valhalla Fort was actually the Rykros ring, so now Demi can actually survive lightning attacks now.
Yeah, so one thing about both Ren and Demi is they're weak to lightning attacks, because hey, you're robots. You're gonna get electrocuted. You might as well just fry. The Palma ring was originally the only ring in the game that had the lightning protection. The Rykros ring in vanilla was also just a key item. It couldn't be equipped by anybody. Well, it can now, and it also has lightning resistance. It doesn't have as much defense, but it does offer, I believe, a point of mental, if I recall correctly.
There's that Zeo fight, and
right.
Where's that magic lamp? There it is. Okay, we're good. Now it's just buffing turn.
All right, so this is actually a good place for Zeo to be, for at least you, for the player anyway. Strength Tower has, the boss here has like they don't have much in the way of mental stat. They have a lot of attacks, so the only one you really have to worry about from Zeo is his normal attack, what we call the crit stick, because it hurts. His other abilities are going to be very weak, unless you don't remember to use the Psycho Wand or Magic Lamp, in which case he's going to use Black Wave every turn, and that will one-shot you guaranteed.
Yep, and that was what... Grizz, keep up the good work. Oh, wow, that corrosion. It still tickles. Okay.
Yes, so be glad he's not Encouraged Tower, because that's
yeah.
I get scared whenever he's Encouraged Tower or Soldier's Island.
Yeah, I think that kind of touches on the two places that I'm really worried about where bosses are. It will be Courage Tower or Soldier's Temple, because some bosses, as you mentioned earlier, they just get incredibly grimy when they're there, and things get kind of tricky. Oh, and there's a use of the Guard Rod. For anyone that doesn't know, it's actually an item that casts Gisar for free. That will heal all the living party members for about 60 to 70 in grand total. And in the Randomizer, if you can find that early, that's really good, because if you can have... It allows you to potentially brute force the bosses that they're doing damage, but you have no heal spells because you haven't had a chance to do a lot of leveling yet. That is the ticket right there to keep you going.
And Mel, I'm gonna say I love the Power Rangers Zeo reference right there. No, Apple Lady, you are right. Dumpster Player does not have. He has not gone to Tono, so he does not have the Victor Axe. So you're seeing how much less damage Grizz does.
Yeah,
I don't know what Grizz has right now.
Yeah, I didn't actually pay attention. If Grizz is just using items, I wonder if Grizz just doesn't even have a weapon equipped right now.
He might not. One strategy you can use with Grizz is tank Grizz, because Grizz has a ton of HP and a ton of defense.
Okay,
so you get a couple shields on him.
Yeah, it looked like it was either, because it did have an attack icon, it looked like it was a Laconian dagger.
Okay, so that's another thing to mention here. Grizz can use daggers in this game. And at least in the Randomizer,
okay, that's not so bad. It's survivable.
It's survivable, but that hurts. Seeing that much damage on another gate in Ladea Tower is painful.
Ooh. All right, so now there's our talked about Courage Tower now, so we'll see what's hiding at the top of there.
Yeah, Courage Tower is, even in vanilla speedrun, is a lot scarier. Strength Tower, the boss of it, you can usually cheese quite a bit, but Courage Tower has always been scarier for me. Just because normally the boss just hits like a truck with magical abilities, and if Noob is lucky, he's not going to... He'll have like a high attack boss, or a boss that specializes in attacks.
No.
This is probably the scariest boss to see here.
Okay, Sleepy
and
Grizz...
he outturned everybody.
Yeah, at least it was a Sleepy Grizz, and Grizz wasn't part of the buff rotation, so I think that's an excellent start. You couldn't ask for anything better.
So hopefully Noob Tree here just hopes for Lightning Shower. There's 3 attacks Dark Force 2 can use here. Lightning Shower, which is an AoE lightning attack. Evil Eye, which is what he used on Grizz first thing, which that you couldn't ask for a better opening turn. And of course, we have Shadow Breath. Shadow Breath is a single target ability. Scales off mental. And because this is a higher mental stat than what Dark Force 2 normally is, Shadow Breath will one-shot anybody, even at this level. And no matter what defense they have, they can be mitigated. Shadow Breath is probably still going to one-shot them.
Yeah, no.
So this is scary.
Yeah, no. Dark Force in this location is out to take names along for the ride, like 288. That was a 40 overkill on Grizz right there, who's the person with the most HP in this party right now. So that's... don't know what kind of armor Grizz had equipped yet, but I don't recall seeing any guard mails yet, so probably not something quite as good as that.
No, and we do have a revive spell here, but we're gonna see the
Kira.
location. Dumpster doing Devar's. Well, this is the high attack spot as well. Devar specializes on only physical attacks, so this could hurt, but it's lower HP, so it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I think it's manageable at this point. So,
yeah.
So one thing about this as well, in vanilla, Devar's has a script where if you hit him with a technique or a skill, he's going to counter on his turn with Disrupt Arm, which is an AoE physical attack. I got rid of that script. It's now he's got a 50% chance of using it. So have fun with that.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes it a lot trickier to manipulate that fight into what you want it to do.
Well, yeah, that's in the vanilla. In vanilla, that is such a he's an easy fight because you can cheese him that way. You can force him into that loop and know how to counter it. I figured give it a little more challenge, let him do whatever he wants at that point. So the counter script is removed, and he just has it in his normal rotation. The same thing goes for Saluz, which is the other boss. Whereas if you hit him with a physical attack, he ends up... Oh, Rika's going to lose out on all that experience.
At least this is in the later stages. I think it was I saw it was at 28 to 30 right there. So it won't be that big of a discrepancy, thankfully.
No, and sometimes you can just go right to the end and...
But
there's the
Ice Digger. Okay, so now places opened up.
So the only... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to highlight for that fight, it really showed with both Grizz having the Victor Axe and Rika having access to the Silver Tusk and the Guard Claw. The damage was ridiculous. Combined, they were pumping between 8 to 900 just between those two on its own. I saw Grizz critting for over 500 on one swing alone. So I'm worried if Dumpster doesn't go check that to-know location, that actually could affect some of the time here.
Yes, Grizz Grizz. Dumpster player, Dumpster, you are now Grizz. No. By defeating the Devars in the Rappy Cave, he's got access to Alschlein. So you have to go into Zima and use it as an item, and you unlock the town, but you also unlock Birth Valley and the bioplant. So we'll see if this, if whatever's in the bioplant is going to be worthwhile, but yeah, I'm scared for Dumpster right now, not doing that free Tono check. He's probably thinking that it was you don't have to do it unless you need to, but that scares me a bit. Oh well. Makes it all more fun, right? And looks like Noob, yeah, he's gonna start making his loop around Dozoris, which means he can do his third incentive here, which is hello, cat. One of my favorite ones. It's a free check. You just go, you talk to the big cat. Normally you get the silver tusk here, but you never know what you're gonna get. This game's like a box of chocolates, right? The only thing that's guaranteed is Demi's probably gonna die at some point. Oh, Gref, you're muted. Maybe you muted yourself. I don't know. I guess it's just me for a minute. So yeah, it looks like I'm getting my players mixed up already. Help me, chat. Dumpster's going into Biolab. A few treasures here. He's at a point now. He's probably got all the gear he wants except for a weapon for Grizz. So he's probably going to check out a few things as well. The Mist Veil gave us our first guard mail, and which is the best armor. And there's 3 people in this party that can use mail. So it's one of those things I'd probably give to Rika right off the bat because she's a little bit weaker than the others at this stage. Normally, Rika levels up much faster. Let's see, what did Dumpster find there? The bioplant had the cyber suit. So the cyber suit is it's actually a usable item. It's armor for both Seth and Han, but it is the item in the game that casts barrier. And if you find that you don't have a character that can cast barrier, then the cyber suit will suffice. Barrier will increase the team's magic defense by whatever the strength of the caster is. So characters like Grizz or Ren are going to give you bigger barriers than like Rune or Raja. Cyber suit is a fixed plus 48. So at certain points, the cyber suit will work better than barrier, but later in the game, barrier is going to be your go-to if you have it. If not, cyber suit will suffice, but you're going to have to mitigate a lot more with healing afterwards.
Yeah, for anybody that is seeing this and wondering, hey, I'm kind of interested in this. That cyber suit I always flag as a very high priority item to try to track down, because you can do some stuff about the physical stuff and abilities. It's a lot harder for the magic. And if you can find that early on, you'll make a difference between your game 1-hit KO to sub 10 to 1 damage you're receiving instead, just from having that plus 48 to your magic defense.
So it looks like Dumpster's going for Air Castle right off the bat. So in order to get through Air Castle, you actually have to fight the mini boss first. As you can see, those barriers are blocking up access to the inner part of it. There's actually in vanilla 2 sets of barriers, but I removed the first set. To give you a little, so you don't have to take as long, because Air Castle is such a long dungeon.
Mm-hmm. Even without encounters.
And the looks like Noob Tree got the guard armor for Demi and Esper Mansion.
So Demi actually has a chance of living now.
Yes, she does. And there was a guard mail in Mist Veil, so we got a couple guard items right off the bat.
Yeah, it's we may be poking a little bit of fun at Demi because Demi has a much harder time surviving. Oh, phone eraser down in the basement there as well. So that's getting Demi nice and ready to go. But yeah, no, it's such a stark difference between Demi and Ren based off of their stats. That Ren can survive everything. Demi, not so much.
Is this even randomized?
Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's...
The triplets.
1 damage crit? I'm okay with this.
So, the triplets. Graf, do you want to explain the triplets?
Yes, for the triplets, they are 3 separate activations. They will do their own thing unless you hit them with an AoE attack. And then if you do hit them with an AoE attack, they will hit you. All 3 of them will spend an action to do 1 AoE attack back at you, which sounds kind of scary, but actually a lot of times that's what you want, because their spells individually, especially some of the single target ones, will hit really hard and they can start pounding on one person and taking them out. But if you force them, as we're seeing here right now, some AoE attacks, and we should see the attack here momentarily, it's just 1 attack, hits everybody. It hurt, but it's survivable, and that's the part that matters. And now with just some quick healing right there and just continuing to pile on the damage, I don't see why Dumpster can't complete this fight.
Yeah, they're very weak to the light elemental too, and this shouldn't be a bad fight. One thing about the Thunderblast ability here is, and that hurt a lot.
Yeah.
One thing about it though, and this is what the vanilla speedrunners do, if you have the plasma field, you completely negate their attack for that character wearing it, because it's laser elemental. It says Thunderblast on it, but it's laser elemental. And hey, we got sync up now.
Yeah, no.
It looks like Noob has a bit of an issue there. I did just realize though that I missed that. Did Noob go to Weapon Plant?
I did not see.
I
assumed
didn't either.
because that would make sense because it's right there. But
yes, he was right.
he also
gun
got
width.
here really quickly as well, so I'm starting to wonder if he didn't.
I don't know, but I also thought that he had Grubrick access, but I just remembered that Noob has not been to the basement, which is where the Eclipse Torch is.
Yes, so that's... this is kind of
both-
going both ways right now. I'm not sure how this is going to pan out.
Both of them right now have 4 objectives. Excuse me, no. Dumpster has 4 objectives left to complete. He'll have 3 after completing this here. Noob has 3, and he'll have 2 after this. But the ones that he has left, he needs a Cycle Wand for, and he also needs the Eclipse Torch for. So he could be on a wild goose chase trying to find those 2 items. Where right now it looks like Dumpster still needs to find the Ice Digger, I believe.
I do
He has
believe
not
that's
been
correct.
he has not been to Courage Tower yet, which I don't blame him. I don't want to go there either.
If there was a lesser evil between the two, even though in the base game itself that it's Air Castle to Soldier Temple to Rykros. Rykros is actually not so bad, but sometimes the Air Castle stuff in the randomizer isn't horrible as well. It's just a long walk, especially if you have to, because as you may have noticed, when fighting the triplets, you didn't get an item. But when we get down to the basement, there's the chest down there. It has an incentivized item, and then also the boss itself drops an incentivized item. So it's actually a 2-for-1 special down there. But you have to go through all this rigmarole just to go see it.
So now, at least to try and make up for the fact that this is a rather long dungeon, there are 2 items here. Appalachian made a good point. Noob did not put... He's got the Diesel ring, which he got in the plate system. He did not put it on Grizz. And Grizz has a natural weakness to ice. The Diesel ring will give him ice resistance. It gives anybody ice resistance that has it on. So usually if you see that, it also gives mental stat, which, Grizz strong. Grizz don't need mind. He doesn't need a brain. He just hits things. But we put the Diesel ring on Grizz most of the time just for that resistance. For the most part, for a couple bosses.
I had no idea Grizz was actually weak to ice.
Grizz is weak to ice. Raja is weak to fire. It's not... Grizz without the Diesel ring really, I think, only hurts on the triplets for the most part. Juza's script doesn't use... ice anymore, but Raja can die very easily on Profound Darkness to Fire Breath if you don't have the motor ring on him.
Yes. Ooh, Dark Force 3 down. 97 without the Snow Crown up. That ain't too bad.
Yeah, it didn't even seem like it was a crit, so it should be okay. And what item did he get out of that?
It was money.
It was just money. All this way for money. This is an
Yeah.
objective, though, so he kind of needs to do it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that what else is hiding behind the boss will make it at least worth the trip to come here.
Right.
So let's see what else. I'm curious to see what the corrosion damage is in this, because that's going to be tasty. It won't be as tasty as Soldier Temple. Oh, just missing Grizz. Okay, sure thing, game.
Yeah, it's like Grizz is really fast now. Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Apple Lady with a good note. Kira has ataraxia now.
Yes, I actually did notice that earlier. So that actually makes things a lot easier as you go on. If you have a lot of people that want to use a lot of techniques and start pulling from that pool, especially if someone gets a certain spell called Megid that costs 30 a pop to use, and it hits like a truck.
It's funny in some cases, though. I've seen Nayfoy hit harder than Megid. I think it was against the Rappy King, but ataraxia is an AoE. It's the only way to restore technique points other than an in or a healing pad in the game, and it's only usable in battle, so you can't use it outside of battle and heal up. That's cheating at that point. I don't edit things in this game to make cheaters out of all you. So ataraxia also will, if anyone's asleep, ataraxia will also wake them up. And
did you make that change?
No, that was actually in the original. I did not make that change.
Huh. Okay, news to me.
It's just like, I believe if someone is asleep, if they're asleep, ataraxia. If they're stunned, I think medical power awakens them up too. I
Okay.
don't remember. I know medical power does, or maybe it's I don't remember anymore. But yes, Ataraxia is the only way to recover the TP in game, and you basically they're going to gain technique points based on the caster's mental ability. So even though Grizz can learn it, it's not going to be as strong as like Kira having it. Although, even Grizz, restoring 30 is still better than nothing in some cases. And especially if your only method of healing, like right now, Chaz is just going through Gisars like crazy. Ataraxia will help that out.
Look, that was the difference right there of someone showed up about a minute later to the fight, but just by the fact of having more holy weapons, especially with Grizz swinging, it did at the same time, and I did not see what the item was there.
I don't think it was anything important.
I'm watching the stream. It was a plasma launcher. Okay, so it's actually an upgrade for Dumpster, I think, because I think it may actually already grabbed the plasma launcher from the store, but it's not any good for Noob Tree because of the photon eraser.
So both of them, I think, are trying to figure out what to do next. Noob is just 2 objectives away, but he needs a Psycho Wand and he needs the Eclipse Torch. But the Eclipse Torch is in the easiest dungeon in the game, but he hasn't been there yet.
Yeah.
So, is he going to go there? It looks like Dumpster is going to Curran right now, and which is not an objective, but Dumpster needs the Ice Digger and the Psycho Wand. So both of them are 2 key items from finishing this. And so Noob is going towards Piata at this point. So he will get the Eclipse Torch and he'll be in go mode at this point.
Yeah, that was.
But no, he won't. He still needs a Psycho Wand.
Yeah, that's still missing. Yeah, at least having access to more there will make it good. So I don't think I recall seeing people going to the Climate Center yet as well.
Nope.
They just kind of skipped over it and checked the easy stuff. Okay, and then potentially even that weapons plant was maybe skipped over as well.
Yeah, I didn't see that as well. Let's see, Apple Lady. I'm just looking. Apple, you've been my third set of eyes here. Did Noob go to weapon play? I didn't see it because you're right. It didn't seem like he went to Air Castle really quick.
Yeah.
So he's now. Did he just finish that? I blinked and yeah, he finished.
Oh yeah, it was just slap and done.
So he's got the Eclipse Torch now. So he's probably gonna check the rest of Matavia to see if he can find the Psycho Wand.
Yeah, you might as well check in the locale before you go off world to just come back anyways.
Yeah, because you don't know where it is. You want to try and go to the quickest spots possible.
All right, the same thing. Okay. So this should be a very quick fight with being level 33 because that's already equal or higher level than what's in the speedrun already, and you're dealing with a boss that you're fighting an hour or 15 into the game. So this with a lot of good abilities and equipment.
All right, and let me take a look. Okay, I was like, wait a second, my vision is weird. Is this even randomized? Come on.
Yeah.
Fred, where are you? Oh, wait, we're not blaming Fred for this one. Okay.
Poor Fred.
Usually, if something's not randomized, we blame Fred.
First rocket's for 1. No, actually, that first rocket actually did some damage. That's actually not too bad. I'm surprised.
Yeah. So, I love the Dark Force 1 fight mainly because, and this is going to be sad because Dumpster does not have the Victor Axe. The Grizz can hit anywhere up to 700 against Dark Force 1 because Dark Force 1 does have a weakness to the light element, but he's got a super weakness to the light element. So he takes nearly double damage from light element.
Oh, so good.
Yes, it's like, and seeing all that is just so delicious.
So let's see what else is going on. So we got seen the Devars there on the right side. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there goes Dark Force 1. So I'm actually kind of curious to see what's hiding there. If there's anything tasty ready to go back there. Actually gain some levels. Nathu I saw for his power
max
shield.
Damage Grand Cross on Dark Force 1. That would be that I have seen that happen.
Let's see.
What is this? Where is everything? Okay. So Curran ended up being a dud.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case here. So we'll see where Dumpster decides to go next. Maybe, come on, go across. Yeah, you want to go there? Go get that axe.
Yes.
Go get that axe.
Oh, he's going.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
buddy. There we go.
I thought he was going to Soldier's Temple.
Oh,
I was crossing my fingers that someone's going to go to Soldier's Temple.
well, at least we can eliminate some very important parts for Soldier's Temple. There's not a Zeo there, and none of the Dark Forces are there.
Nope.
And
all three
Lashik
Dark
is not
Forces
there.
And Lashik. So, but that leaves two of the scarier ones. That leaves Saluz and Rephase.
Yeah. And we're running out of bosses here to pull from that pool.
Yeah, so we still have Rephase and Saluz in the pool, and I'm trying to remember Juza's still in the pool too.
Yes, and I believe you made some adjustments to Juza actually not too long ago, if I recall correctly.
Yes, Force Flash deals a little bit more damage. He's now considered a major boss, and he only uses Force Flash or Zan.
Okay.
So a little bit of adjustment to him. I'm probably still going to be tinkering with Juza for a little bit, but to be honest, if one of them go to Soldier's Island, who do you want? Would you rather see Rephase or Saluz there?
At least with Rephase, you know what you're going to get, and it's not a lot of mental gymnastics to figure out, can I survive and out heal the damage? If the answer is yes, yeah, not a big deal at all. However, for the other boss, you just don't know what's going to happen right now, because I believe for that one, you also removed the script for it, so it can just go bananas. It's like, I'm just going to triple legion you, and what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, that was very fun removing that. But the other thing is Rephase is only weak to one element, and that's the light element. And if Dumpster's going to get the defeat axe. He's going to be very happy with that. But
Yes.
and the only, I mean, I think we do have. Did we say we had Moonslasher?
Yes, I did see a Moonslasher.
So Kira can do damage, Rika can do damage, and also, we do have Photon Eraser too. So actually dealing damage isn't going to be any problem because Victor Axe. Everybody has a method of dealing light damage with their ultimate weapon. All the ultimate weapons in the game now deal light-based damage. So as long as you have that, you can deal damage to Rephase. The Sue line of techniques, or Rayblade will also do it, or Medjed will also deal damage to Rephase, but that's the only way you're going to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, Rephase should be fine if that's what the boss is.
And their HP, like they, can't even use my words anymore here. Like Demi is in a little bit of a scarier territory, but everyone else is not a super low HP character, so it probably would be very survivable. And we have not based off Cybersuit, and I don't know Rika's strength growth. I know it outshines 48, not too hard. So I imagine it's starting to get better and better at every level.
And it looks like Noob is going to Dazorus, so he's probably going to hit Garubrik first, and then he still has Weapon Plant he can check.
Surprise, Zeo!
It's Zeo. So if Dumpster does Courage Tower after this, which is usually the natural order of things, you're going to do, if you're going to right cross to do one tower, you're going to do them both, unless you have what you need from that first one. Garbage Tower.
Oh, goodbye stream quality.
Yep. Oh, just because it's garbage. Oh god, yeah. I'm looking at the stream too, and it's like it. Yeah, that's unfortunately the nature of the snow effect.
Yeah, those mist rooms are ouch. But no. So we'll see where this one goes here. It's a bit of a climb.
Apple, I think Eclipse Torch, if I recall correctly, I think it does holy damage and not light damage. It's actually two different elements, which is very, very odd. One way I remember about holy elements, which the only two spells for holy are Ephes and Saint Fire. Think of him like, I don't know, probably a lot of people play D&D, but normally if you're just taking on a magical creature, basically, holy is not going to do anything damage against anything that's not considered evil. So if it's like an animal or something that you find in Batavia, it's probably not going to hurt. If you're trying to fight a machine, machines in my mind can't be inherently evil, so it's not going to damage them either. But anything else, it's holy element's very powerful.
Yes. Yeah, those holy element abilities, it tends to be either I'm doing all the damage or I'm doing 1 damage. There's very rarely any in between.
Yep, that I remember growing up and using Grand Cross on some random enemies and dealing 1 damage.
Yes.
Strongest combination, or one of the strongest combination spells in the game, 1 damage.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Dumpster got through Strength Tower. He's gonna heal and then go. With any luck, he is going to style. Yep, he's going to go to Courage now.
Yep. So let's take a look-see and see what we got at the top here of Garbage Tower, because we're just a few rooms away for that. Oh, wait. Oh, I was trying to pick up what some of the stats were, or skills for Kira.
Yeah, I missed it too.
Yeah, it's a tricky to gauge of that.
Yeah, Paladin Blow is actually really good too, as far as... I don't remember what element it does, though. I think it's light. But it's the combination between Rayblade and Astral.
Okay.
And it does quite a bit of damage too, especially if you can...
Rappy!
All right, we have the real King of Terrors. Is it Dumpster's music that's being captured right now, or his sound? I believe it's Dumpster's that's being captured. So you unfortunately can't hear the boss music of this. It's actually... I kind of did that as a joke. Major bosses will either have King of Terrors or Laughter as their boss track.
Sorry, continue on.
And King Rappy I put as King of Terrors because the King Rappy is the King of Terrors, to be honest.
And I just happen to know, I thought I caught it during the checking of the status screen earlier, but I confirmed it here now that Kira actually did get Medjed, which is good because you get Medjed. It's not as good because Kira also holds Ataraxia. So you're either recharging TP or you're casting Medjed. You can't get best of both worlds in this case here.
Yep.
But having that as an option will be really good because it didn't look like Kira got access to Vortex. So that will make a fantastic choice if she doesn't have to use her TP for healing to just start pumping in the damage later on down the road.
And King Rappy at this slot is a bit stronger, but I think at this point Noob is finding himself quite overpowered for it. So King Rappy's not... he's missing all of his physical attacks. Earthquake is still doing a little bit, but it's being mitigated very well. So there's going to be no real damage for King Rappy.
Yep. No, I saw it going in. It was level 37, I believe. So we're starting to get up there in the levels. And the way things are going, I would not be surprised if we see some of the characters starting to climb into the 40s as well. And that's kind of the how this randomizer goes, similar to, I think, several as well, where you find everything you need very early and you can start going into the last dungeon at a relatively low level, or you spend a little bit more time and you find everything, you have higher levels, and you're not as worried. I'm not going to say that you're not scared of the last boss, because you always should be, but there's less that you have to worry about.
Yeah. I haven't made any changes to the final boss, so all the debuff spells that you have will not work on the final boss still. So, I can't give the other game for free now, can I?
No. Hey, St. Fire as well there, and there's the sword. Okay.
The Alcidian. So Anger Tower is now unlocked for Noob. It's going to be curious whether he goes there to check it out.
And I believe that also means everybody has a holy weapon.
Yeah, everyone does have a holy weapon. He teleported to Tyler, so he's either healing. Oh, he's going, and he still has 2 checks on Dazorus to do. He's going to Curran.
All right. So, well,
and I'm pretty sure that Dumpster is now happy with with his Ice Digger.
Yes, having access to that many more checks right now is huge. Especially with having the Eclipse Torch already, we'll be able to just, I would take a guess at just start doing a clean sweep and just start doing the lap around the entire world and just check everything just to find what you're looking for. Yes,
and so you cannot get into Anger Tower unless you have the Alcidian. So even if you don't have Chaz in your party, you can still get it. So one thing worth noting, if you don't have a certain character in the game, you're not going to get weapons for them, except in the case of both Psycho 1 and the Alcidian. So say you don't have Rika in your party, there's going to be no shops and no chests that have claws. So it basically means that anything that you pick up or find will have some value, unless titanium, but will have some value to somebody in your party. It's not going to be like, nobody can use this. Why is it here? Why do I have an axe when Grizz is not in my party? Oh, and Anger Tower's boss is the Ooze.
Yep. And I think that was actually a really nice addition, just to elaborate on what you were mentioning there a moment ago, of making sure that you only find stuff that your party can use, made it a lot easier to go through this and know that you're not just going to get crud, for the lack of a better... guard mail. Okay, or guard mail.
And Apple Lady does make a good point. Yes, there are a couple exception sets. Thunderclaw, even if you don't have Reek in the party, you can still get in an item shop. So the weapons that can actually cast magic, Laconia Rod, Flame Sword, Tornado Dagger, Thunderclaw, Guard Rod, no matter if the character can use it, whether they're in your party or not, you could still have access to them in some form. Guard Rod is there's at least guaranteed to get one Guard Rod in a game because it is an incentivized treasure. And it looks like Dumpster's going right for Garbage Tower.
Yep, just get that out of the way. And yeah, that means he skipped over Climate Center as well.
Yeah, he skipped over Climate Center. He did do. I believe he. I think I blinked again. I think did he do Mist Veil?
Yes,
I'm pretty sure. Okay, so really at this point, and now, so basically both of them are on equal terms for the most part. They're both hunting for that Psycho Wand.
Yep, I believe that is indeed the case here, because that's going to be a big difference right there to see what's hiding down in that basement.
I'm pretty sure Dumpster's going to be happy to see the Rappy King here. And I believe it was Dark Force 1 that was the boss in here as well, because I was like, oh, is this even randomized? Ha!
Yes, there was 2 bosses so far that were in their original locations. And Dark Force 1 was one of them.
So I'm trying to think, what other... And the thing is Dumpster going to make, once he gets the Alcidian from the Rappy King here, is he going to go to Anger Tower, or is he going to finish up the Zorus?
I would hope...
We don't know what's in Climate Center. We don't know what's in Weapon Plant right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping Dumpster stays on the planet, because those checks are really quick, especially with what level and level of gear everybody is at right now. To check everything on this planet, just clean sweep, get it out of the way, then consider your option for going to Anger Tower after that. Because that's a lot of time just trying to travel to a town and then going to the spaceport, go do the animation for getting there.
Yes, and Climate Center, it's a quick dungeon. There's 2 mini bosses in it, and it's not difficult at all to do, but sometimes you don't want to have to fight unless you have to, because, time. We're racing here. We gotta go fast.
Exactly.
All these bosses look the same to you. That's okay. When you start running the randomizer, as long as we have, they start to blend together too. It's like Rappy Force. I should totally make Rappy Force or Dark Rappy. There we go.
Oh jeez, that Dark Force 1 got demolished.
Rappy with Shadow Breath. That'd be funny.
Oh no! Please no.
Don't worry. That requires. I can't give some enemies some skills because of the way the animations work in this game. And a lot of the coding in this is very tricky, so there's limitations on what I can and can't do, and there's some things that if I can do them, I'm gonna have so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
But
so now Noob is going back to Dezolis, so I'm hoping... Okay, I think now going over to the weapon plant that was skipped over earlier, and just the way things have gone right now, if Noob... Oh no, actually both did Air Castle. I was just thinking for some reason that Noob didn't do it for some reason, but this place was the crux of the conversation of, wait, how did he get here so quickly?
Yep, so basically both are still hunting for Psycho Wand, which there's still Soldier's Temple available too, as well as Climate Center, and I believe those are the only checks left that they haven't done. They still need the Psycho Wand, and of course Nervous, which you need the Psycho Wand to get into, which isn't really a check as it is their final objective. They both have 7 of the 8 objectives. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes.
Yeah,
and the item is in the burst rock chest, and there it is.
One.
There's
Boom,
cycle
okay.
one. So Noob is in go mode.
So that means that's a complete skip of Soldier Temple, so that makes life a lot easier right now.
Yeah, and I'm sad. I want to see Soldier's Temple. maybe Dumpster will still hit it.
Yeah, we'll have to see just based off the known information right now. So that means this is the last objective for Noob Tree to do, I believe.
Yes, and Nervous at this, especially at this level, is going to be easy enough. He's at level 41. I love it. Get on the hydrofoil to go 5 steps. I do that all the time.
That 6 square walk, I think you have to do there on a hydrofoil.
I do it all the time.
That's great.
Like it's quicker to walk there than it is to go into the menu, get the hydrofoil, press OK, and then move 6 steps.
And then the best part was it was so fast they completely overshot it, landed in the quicksand.
I love the hydrofoil. It's fast, but sometimes it's too fast. But it's so much fun.
Doesn't matter
Especially
who's driving it. Everybody looks drunk when they're driving it because it's just going too fast.
All right, so Dumpster now has the Alcidian, and he is not warping to Tyler. He is making a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right, so he's gonna start doing his check.
Yep. So this is kind of what I was mentioning earlier.
And looks like he's he's not doing Esper. Where is he? He's going to Jot.
So
the teleport point.
Okay, I was about to say if skipping 2 checks right there, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's like I mean, although to be fair, it's a bit of a walk for Esper Mansion to get into the Sacred Sword Cave and do that check. He might be thinking that Gumbius is going to be a quicker check, so let's go ahead and check that out. And he's going back to Gumbius, so it probably looks like the next check he's going to do. He's going to Weapon Plant.
Yeah, no, at this stage, there's no real reason to go into the town.
The boss of the boss of Nervous.
Huh. Well, I'm very nervous now because this could be pain.
Yeah, although it's, to be fair, he's at 41 and this is Zio's spot normally. It's
okay, never mind.
It's mitigated.
Never mind.
Rephase has 1 attack and it's measured. At this level and at that spot, there's no real danger, and everybody's got a weapon or some means to deal damage to him.
Yeah, so this should be a quick fight.
Yep, and so it's already done. Everyone gets another level. So 42. If you hundo the seed, then or any seed, you'll probably be around 45 by the time you're done. As long as no one else dies. And Dumpster now happy with his cycle wand. So he's in go mode now. So we're in the final stretch. And speaking of stream quality,
and
we got the edge.
This got slam dumped into the dumpster now.
So Dumpster's going to make his run to Nervous and finish that up. And Noob is just beelining right there. He's confident that he's got everything he needs, enough healing, enough and enough damage to do. He's got.
You have enough. That is the baseline. That's the little checkboxes you have to think of. Can I survive certain attacks, especially in Phase 3? Do I have the damage and the type of weapons that I need? Do I have everything known? So this is actually, to me, going to be prime time. Going back to the macro conversation, actually, you're going to want to make some macros for this fight because there's a lot of things to account for, and you do not want to forget something or fat finger something here. Because it just takes one wrong move and you could be back at the intro screen again.
Yeah, and thankfully one of the features of this is I've enabled the ability to save anywhere, so that you're welcome. That's all I'm saying. You're welcome.
that was huge. Be able to save everywhere. I am incredibly spoiled by it.
Me too, and this is why I don't speedrun vanilla anymore. Actually, no, that's not the only reason I don't. The other reason is the game. I love the game. I don't love speedrunning vanilla anymore, for sure. It's painful.
Yeah, it's a trip to say the least.
It's a good RPG to watch. It's just so, and like I said, I've dug into the disassembly. I've seen the calculations and how much RNG plays into these calculations, and it's insane. And the people who can speedrun this game vanilla do an amazing job, and hats off to them for this. But I'm like, I will take Randomizer any day at this point. Not because I wrote it, but it's just because it feels a lot more friendlier to me. And there is an option as well, because if anyone's looked at these technique names here, they sometimes may not make sense. So for anybody who hasn't played a Phantasy Star game, there's also an option to quote unquote kind of normalize the technique and skill abilities. So instead of like Watt is the ice ability in the game, it's just now called ice. So things like that to make it a little more friendly for those who haven't played the series. And Dumpster is now on his way to the edge, and now we have Profound Darkness.
Yep, good old phase 1. So this fight is broken up into 3 phases. The first phase, the easy phase, is pure single target damage. So it gives you time to get yourself buffed up and ready to go, because your buffs do carry over from phase to phase. Phase 2, the rude phase, where it's a lot of AoE attacks with some single targets, and then phase 3 is just rude, period. Because Medjed is a thing, and canceling is a thing.
Phase 1 can be rude too if it outturns everybody and it hits your barrier caster with Shadow Breath and kills them. I've had that happen.
That is an option, but thankfully, in this case, Rika is the lucky target, and she is nimble.
Yeah, Rika's one of the fastest characters in the game, and she's a little bit slower in Randomizer, not because of her stats, because everybody's stats in here are meant to be as close to vanilla as possible. Especially when you initialize the characters, because a lot of the characters you get in vanilla, they don't start at level 1. Well, in Randomizer, as long as you initialize the character, everybody starts at level 1. So I've had to create formulas for that, which is why Kira only has 7 HP to start. But they're close. But because Rika doesn't gain levels faster than everybody else, her stats actually are a bit lower comparatively to everybody else's stat at the same level.
This is so tasty, seeing all these physical attacks and having access to vision. So, oh wow, that's shocking. A lot of damage.
Grizz.
Yeah. Another gate. Oh god, that tickles still. So to give perspective, again, this is with characters that are more or less equipped with a lot of the top end gear that have been modified to make them even better. And Profound Darkness will still almost one-hit KO people when they're in the around 40 range for her levels.
Although Kira looks like Kira might have the plasma field on, because she only took 1 damage from that shot. So, and that is a wonderful thing until phase 3 when canceling hits.
So for those, and speaking of which, that's going to be coming up here momentarily. Canceling is an ability that removes all buffs and debuffs, I believe, but mostly it's the buffs you worry about. But unfortunately, the plasma field and its ability to absorb energy attacks and reduce it to 1, that kind of goes away as well. So that turns into a problem.
Yeah, and turn 1 always goes with Medjed, and it still hurts. This is where macroing is going to be very important, and looks like Kira's got Naysar, so that should make use of everything. Naysar is an AoE heal, but it does not affect androids, so Ren or Demi will not. They have to heal themselves, basically.
At this stage right now, with Chaz, Grizz, and Rika just all swinging for the fences right now, they're doing, looks like, combined close to about 1,200 damage every activation they get. They'll be doing just fine. And then there's the free turn right there, so this is all damage time.
Yeah, so one of the benefits of having an android, or Seth, is complete immunity to sleep and stun. So Evil Eye, which puts the target to sleep, is completely useless on Demi. So that's a free turn. The only scary thing that could happen right now, dealing about 1,200 damage per turn basically is going to mean it's going to take like 10 turns to down her. Profound Darkness has canceling though, and canceling will, if it's followed by Megid before you can get barrier up, even at this level, you could lose a few characters. At this level, you're pretty safe for the most part, especially with gear. But if it kills the wrong characters, you could be in deep trouble. You might not be able to recover from it.
Yeah, this is a fight that usually when the death spiral starts, you have to rectify it within one turn. If you don't, you're probably going to be losing more and more and more as you go. Or you're a certain speedrunner that has one character alive and lands the killing blow.
With 1 HP.
Yes.
with 1 HP. So we got Dumpster in the fight now, and you can see their order setups a little bit. So single targets on enemies work. The character in front is more likely to take the hit than people further back. So if you want to position your characters further back, and that's time for Noob Tree.
That's a 125-20.
Yes, that was a GG there, and we're probably talking another 5 to 10 minutes for Dumpster at this point. As long as did Noob even get a canceling there?
Nope, there was no canceling there, so that was as clean as a fight you can get. You got the Evil Eye on Demi, you got some single target attacks that did not kill anybody. You kind of got what you wanted out of that fight.
Yes, and do we want to bring Noob up, or do we want to wait for Dumpster?
Maybe we'll give a few minutes because I don't think the fight will take that long here, and then we kind of get the things from both.
And there's both Dumpster, Noob, and Apple Lady as my as testers. Hey, Griff, you're credited too.
Who the heck was that ugly guy in there? Jeez.
I don't know. We'll blame the creator.
We have to vet the process a little better.
Show, so shout outs to the Phantasy Star friends and also to the RPG Valkyries.
Yay!
You're in the credits, Valks. And then we got a bunch of names which I actually do not. Just wait until the later credits when it's just a bunch of random letters because I'm too lazy to actually fix credits beyond the Valkyries. After that, it's like no, the rest of the credits don't matter because Yoshida was not a system planner. We'll just put it that way. So Dumpster's on phase 2 now, and oddly enough, another gate actually has a higher base damage than Megid.
Wait a second. Chaz is swinging the guard sword. Did he equip his sword?
He has the Obsidian, he didn't equip it.
Oh no. It's not a game breaker, but it's a difference of maybe down to hitting for 66% as hard as what it can hit for.
Yeah, it hits the damage calculation is a little bit different with the Obsidian because it's light elemental. Unless Chaz has barrier. I don't know if Chaz had barrier, then that could help because you get extra strength from the guard sword. So you end up with a stronger barrier.
Yep. That is true. So I did see someone using the POW shield earlier to buff up their attack power, but I didn't quite catch who it was earlier.
So one thing, barrier is based off of the caster's strength. So power shield thankfully doesn't raise strength; it actually raises attack power, or when used as an item. But if you have it equipped, it gives you a plus 10 strength, I believe, 5 or 10. Either way, if you double up on power shield, you get a plus 20 barrier on addition to what your strength is. So you got a lot going for you at that point.
Yeah, things will be looking awesome for you, especially in good old phase 3. Let's see what we get for a ride here. So everyone buckle up. Ye old Megid. Let's see the Megid recovery macro, and then who knows what we're gonna get next.
Yes, let's hope for no canceling Megid here because that's
no.
Fingers crossed.
All right,
Any prey macro you have.
Okay, we're good. Barrier went up. That's all that matters.
Anytime you see canceling, you want to anybody in chat has to do a prey emote of some sort or something. Oh.
I must have missed something there, but it looks like an all attack round. It looks like.
All right, it
must have been okay.
Yeah, there we go. There's the prey emote that we're looking for. Let Noob know. We'll bring him in a minute. We'll bring them both in for a quick post-game chat. Post-game chat, not post-game Chaz. We
No,
we don't need that.
we don't want that.
There's only one person I know that actually likes Chaz, and that's Bowie.
Bowie.
Everyone else is like, oh, come on, Chaz. Yeah, exactly. That's why Bowie's got that emote.
Chaz napping on the job now.
Yep, of course. So Ataraxia should cure that right up. If he doesn't have someone with the arouse ability.
I think that's what's being looked for there first. There. No, looks like just waiting it out. But I guess with Chaz not having a light element weapon equipped right now, it may not be horrible. Just kind of let him nap for a little bit and hopefully wake up, and let everyone else just continue to do damage.
The odds of waking up are based on the person's mental stats. So the higher it is, the more likely it is, one, that they won't get hit by it, but two, if they do get hit by it, that they'll wake up the following turn. Chaz isn't known for having mental. He's got more than Grizz.
There he goes. Wake up.
Hey, he wakes up. One thing about sleep or paralyze or death stats, you lose your Sanner buff at that point. So if you have a speed buff, if you die or are put to sleep, you lose it. You keep any other buff you have. So if you have barrier to ban or even a shift with increased attack, you'll keep that throughout that, but you will lose Sanner, and the reason is because it is it's how turn order works. So when you are put to sleep, it sets your speed to 0 so that they make sure you don't attack or have any turn. And when you're restored, it doesn't know what you had originally, so it just puts you at the character's base speed. Everything else is okay though. It's just speed.
Yeah. And that enters into a fun decision aspect of the game of, oh, that person died and they lost their speed. Do I care? If it's someone that's just meant like Chaz, who's just going to be there and just swinging all the time, that's okay. But if it's anyone that's part of your macros for healing, that's a problem, and you need to rectify that right away.
Yeah, and because
there we go.
Dumpster well.
131.25. GG's.
Oh, GG's indeed. That was a good seed. That was a fun race.
Yeah, that one definitely went places for sure. And I was actually very happy to see that both players were in the Profound Darkness fight at the same time. So I mean, it wasn't necessarily a complete blowout where one person just made a wrong decision and went somewhere. They got there at very close to each other.
Yeah, and that can also show what finding the right weapon can do. Because Noob had the Victor Axe like really early, so. But hey, we got a few minutes. Why don't we bring them on in? At least we can try.
Hopefully, maybe. See what's up. Actually, I don't think it's been done here. I don't know if links are possible to post, but I could post a link to the website for the randomizer for anyone that's interested. Possible to post, but I could post a link to the website. That'd be a good idea because I'm lazy right now. Yeah, you know what? You work hard on all this. This is the least that I can do here.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. Oh, I heard the bubblings, and Dumpster's muted. Dumpster, don't mute yourself. Thank you. Good game, both of you.
GG's.
Dumpster. How close were you, man?
You guys were 6 minutes and 5 seconds difference. One Noob was at the end in phase 3 when Dumpster was entering phase 1 of Profound Darkness.
Dude, great race, man.
Shouldn't have gone to Quran. I always fade Quran, and then I was like, it's gonna be mean, and it's gonna be in Quran.
I was so sad neither of you went to Soldier's Island, though.
It was on my list at the very bottom of the list, but it was definitely on my list.
Soldier's Island's on the bottom of everybody's list because, I believe Apple Lady, who's the one that vetted this seed, said that Saluz was waiting there. And I don't think there was anything important there either, but we just wanted to see Saluz just Legion, both of you.
I was tempted.
I'm not being sadistic at all, but
because at that point I didn't have the Alcidian, so I was thinking if I have to go to Rycross and then come back, it would be bad. So go to Soldier's Temple.
Didn't equip the Alcidian either.
No, because the guard sword gives 10 strength, and Chaz was my barrier caster.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
So it gives 10 magic defense to everyone, basically.
Yeah, It was back and forth quite a bit between the two of you. Dumpster, you went to Piata early and got the Eclipse Torch, and then Noob was kind of scrambling a little bit for it, and then found it when he finally went to Piata. But the one thing I noticed is Noob hit Tono early and got the Victor Axe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was able to take down some of those bosses earlier, and it was like, oh, Dumpster.
Yeah, I like fading Tono because it just takes quite long for the early checks. It's a free check, but it's one of the longest checks on Matavia.
Yeah,
like,
and if you don't have a
fading.
telepipe or something, you're walking back, so you need that. And I had the spoiler log in front of me, and I saw a Noob go to Gumbius early on, and he didn't go to Weapon Plant, which is where the Cycle One was. I'm like, I tried my best not to tell anybody that that's where it was, and then he goes to Gruber, and I think he goes back to I do Curran, or I don't remember what it was. Oh, he got the Obsidian and went to Anger Tower from there, and I'm like, there's a second chance to hit Weapon Plant.
I was actually wondering when you asked specifically about did they go to the weapon plans. Like, okay, I think I know what you're talking about here, but I'm just going to play along here.
Regarding the Vorpal grind, so Vorpal grind it's a lot more RNG heavy because you have to reset for the fights. But if there isn't that's probably the meanest fight that could be in Mile. I probably should have gone to the Vorpal grind after because I'd be level 12 or 15. But
Yeah,
I needed Explode. I didn't know I was going to get Explode from the next two levels. So
When Noob hit Tono, he found the Thunder Claws being sold there. He grabbed 3 of them and went Vorpal grinding after.
Yeah,
that was
I
a
didn't do
lucky
too well
find
on the slime grind, so I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm just gonna go to Tono and hit that up.
And yes,
That
thank
was-
you for showing off Vorpal grind. That is Apple Lady's big discovery that
huge
changed the
discovery.
meta pretty much.
Uh,
But
Yeah, it was early on. I felt like I was super far behind, and then I hit. I think when I started feeling comfortable is when I hit Tower of Courage and found the Ice Digger. I was like, oh yay! And it felt like the seat opened up from there, and it was fun. And my hands were shaky, and I was like, oh no, I'm falling behind.
Actually, you found that Ice Digger first, I believe, and that made a very large difference. And it was funny seeing because you went through all of that, and Dumpster actually started doing Air Castle, and then you went to Jut and all that, and then you left and then just went to the Air Castle. Like, did he go to the weapon plant? Oh well, no big deal. Okay, but then both of you were going through the Air Castle, but it was the fact that you've already did all that cleanup already, and then you went after you did Garbage Tower to finally pick up the Cycle Wand there. That was, I think, a very big difference right there between what happened between the two of you.
because the air castle is a key objective, like you have to go there. So if the air castle has the Ice Digger, then it's just a free EV check, basically.
Yeah, and it's
All
right, so
two
we're gonna have
objectives
to-
there.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have to wind this up here in in just a second. I did want to say good game for everybody. Definitely a lot of fun, and we were hyped the entire time. Anybody got any quick shout outs before we head out?
Dumpster, if you want to go first, feel free.
No, just thanks for the games and thanks Lady Starbird for creating the randomizer and the commentators.
Yes, thank you very much for all the hard work you've been putting into this for us to enjoy for quite a while now, actually, when I think about it now.
Yeah,
I think it first came out
definitely.
last August is when I worked on it. But anyways, if we can put another link in the chat for anyone who is interested in this, I do have another update coming out soon. More stuff I'm adding in, trying to all the time whenever my brain allows me to. Other than that, I thank both of the runners. Gref, thank you so much for being here for this. And we have another randomizer coming up with the game that Phantasy Star 4 inspired, Final Fantasy. No, wait, that's not right. Final Fantasy randomizer race as well. So if you love your randomizers, you're going to love this race coming up. So stay tuned, and I hope all of you have yourselves a good rest of your day. Take care, everyone.
You too. Thanks
Bye.
everybody for setting this up. Bye.